What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be answering the Q&A that I posted in my Instagram story. I answered some of just the quick ones in my actual story, but we're gonna go in depth into more of the answers that just require a little bit of a longer explanation. So I wanna make sure that everyone just gets a proper reply, especially if you're taking the time to interact with my account, which by the way, I just wanna say that we are so damn close to hitting 1 million, and I just want to say a huge thank you for everyone who literally does make my account exactly what it is. So that's liking, commenting, sharing, sending me a DM, sending me a message. Honestly, everything like that just truly means the most. So I want to say a big shout out, and when I do hit 1 million, I want to do a big thank you to everyone. So hopefully that comes before 2023, fingers crossed. But hopefully if you guys like this video and going into detail, all that fun stuff, let me know. I'll do more of these Q&As, but for now, we'll get right back into it. But before I forget to say, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and yeah, let's answer some questions. So like I said, we literally have so many of these to go through, and you can see like I've answered some of them in my stories, and I'll be putting up the question through here, just so you guys can know and read the question as well as I answer through them. But let's start all the way at the bottom, because this one actually intrigued me so much. It was, do you ever block people? Okay, so unpopular opinion, but abso-freaking-lutely, I do block people. And not because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want you to see my stuff. I don't want you to, you know what I mean? It's more just, I don't care to interact with people who have chosen to interact with me in a negative way. And I think a lot of people think, oh, blocking is so childish. There are certain times where it's childish. And I'll admit, when I was younger, I was guilty of that, not gonna lie. Now that I'm older though, I don't really technically or like to really do it too often. For me to block you, there must have been a bad interaction. So a couple to just give you a little bit is, if you send me anything sexual or inappropriate, blocked. If you decide to be mean and unfiltered, blocked. If you genuinely hurt my feelings in like my personal life, blocked. So yes, I do block people. Hopefully no one's offended by that. And if you are, blocked. Just kidding. But hopefully you can just understand that these are my boundaries that I set for myself. And I know a lot of people don't like to block people, but I am not afraid. I'm not afraid to hit that block button. I will hit it gladly. If the circumstance calls for it. A lot of the time it doesn't. Now what I would like to say is there is a happy little alternative, sorry. If you don't want to block someone, but you also don't want to really interact with them or have them interact with you and see your stuff and open that door for interaction, mute. Mute is a beautiful thing. Or restriction. So restriction is something else that I use as well. Again, for people who are just commenting or interacting in a negative way that I don't care for on my platform, because I like to create a positive, happy space, you'll be restricted. So goes without saying that everyone has their own opinions on social media and how they choose to operate theirs. I like to keep mine as positive as possible, both for my audience, but also for myself mentally. And so blocked, restricted, and mute are 3 features that I definitely use on Instagram on the occasions that call for it. How long have you been doing gymnastics? So I know this one seems like it would be a pretty short answer, but I wanted to go a little bit more in depth because a lot of people comment on my videos saying things like, oh my gosh, you should like go to the Olympics and all this stuff. And like, thank you guys so much for thinking I have that kind of talent, but I assure you, I do not anymore. And I have completely recognized that in myself. The things that I post, the things that I work on are within my realm, within my reach of accomplishment. Doing things like full-ins, double backs, is just like not any goals that I have right now. And those are all things that you would definitely need to have like at minimum to be in the Olympics. So for me, I am not a gymnast. I stopped training gymnastics a very long time ago when I was in grade 8. In high school, I switched over to dance, and then in university, I switched over to cheerleading. I have kept a lot of basic gymnastics tumbling skills, but the way I train is no longer even close to gymnastics training. So I have been out of it for quite some time. So even though it seems like a lot of the movements I do are familiar movements in gymnastics, my actual training style and my capabilities are much farther, like far away from gymnastics. They're definitely more close to like what I actually do, which is the calisthenics and hybrid training and just overall having fun. will you come to Asia? So I know Asia is quite a vast realm of countries and places to visit, but I do want to go to Asia. I haven't been since grade 5, and actually in 2020 I did have an idea to go. However, the world shut down, so that was not possible. And even now it's still relatively hard to travel to China and other parts of Asia as well. So as soon as it becomes a little bit easier, I'll start putting those motions and those plans all in motion. That's the way the sentence structure was supposed to go. Anyways, but I do want to visit Japan, and I actually have a friend, shout out Sydney, who's going to be performing in their Cirque du Soleil show. So I want to get out there, one, watch her, see her, visit her. It's been so long, but also get out to Japan because I hear the food is absolutely phenomenal. But there's also a bunch of other countries and places that I would like to visit as well. So yes, I will come to Asia. Will it be anytime soon? I don't think so. It'll probably be like, Japan will probably, hopefully, be end or middle of next year, and then the other parts of China, we don't know. We're gonna try to get there. We're gonna try to get there as fast as we can, but the time will tell. Why golf? Welcome to the pain, by the way. There was a couple golf questions in here and why I chose to pick it up. So in the summertime, I had 2 options, either golf or boxing, which like you would think with my kind of background and my interests on Instagram, you'd be like, easy, boxing. However, shoop, we chose golf. And honestly, I freaking love golf. It actually makes me so happy. And it's funny because the reason why I like it so much is because I am so bad at it. Like, I like being able to understand what I'm doing wrong and how I can correct it. And it just gives me so much more overall body control. Like for instance, for me, my swing, I tend to just huck the ground sometimes, just like beat the ground with my club. And that's honestly because one of the reasons is I'm just slow on shifting my weight, as well as like my movement pattern is a little bit more uncoordinated. So those kind of things just help me become so much more body aware, which oddly enough, well, not oddly enough, obviously it makes sense. It translates into other parts of my life within the fitness industry. Another reason why I really like golf is because it's allowed me to become a student again. So I actually take lessons. So to be able to just directly learn from a professional has been so nice. I get to be a student again, I get to learn again. And I think it's super important for people to put themselves in that scenario where they are a student again, especially if you're someone who owns their own business or is considered someone very higher up in their fitness division or fitness life or whatever you're in. It's just nice to bring yourself back down to like a learning position and realize that when you don't understand something, like what is that person doing to help you understand it? So it's not just like as easy as 1, 2, 3. Like I think a lot of us get caught up later in our life just being like, oh, like why can't you just freaking do it? Because it's freaking hard. So it's good to relearn that patience, which I think beneficial. And I definitely suggest a lot of people do try to go back to that learning stage because it's very beneficial from a business point of view. And then lastly, the third reason why is because I just wanted to give myself a different way to meet new people and network. And it's been so great because I've gotten to connect with so many people who have also like taken up golf or have been in golf for a very long time, and I had no idea. So it's really been a fun little journey of meeting new friends and just creating a whole like little golf crew who likes to go golfing, whether it's the driving range or the actual course. So that is why I picked golf, the 3 reasons. But yeah, hopefully, I don't know, if you guys haven't taken up golf, I highly suggest it because I freaking love it. And if you do take up golf and you're in the GTA, we can golf together. Hello, how long have you been doing calisthenics? So I know I've touched base on this before in previous Q&As, but I just love talking about it. So we're gonna go over it again in this Q&A. I got introduced into calisthenics very first through Instagram because I just had followed people who had similar content to me, was doing handstands, all that fun stuff. And then finally I'd realized like, hey, this group of people actually get together for a meetup. So for anyone in Toronto, follow Calisthenics Canada because they post when these meetups happen. And honestly, without this first meetup in like October, November 2019, I think my life would be literally so different. And I am so grateful that I had actually gotten the guts to go because I had seen a bunch of these meetups happening early in the summer and like I just was like shy, like I don't know if I should make it. Like I was just kind of nervous. But I'm telling you, do not be nervous. Just show up because it's honestly one of the best environments you will ever put yourself in. And my best friends have literally come from these meetups. So friends like Jaleel, Feli, Mike, Carlito, like all these people that I meet up with and train with on a regular basis, I met at these meetups. I also met Rollin. You guys have seen him golfing with me as well as training with me. I met Zandy as well, like a year later at a different meetup. But I think anyone who's interested or just slightly interested in calisthenics has to come to one of these meetups. And I know a lot of people also message saying like, what if my community doesn't have one? if you go to a calisthenics park and you see someone working calisthenics, I just suggest going up to them and being like, hey, like, how'd you start? Or like, what are you training? Like, obviously if they're like in the zone focused, like wait till they take their breaks. But you can just start your own community, because that's exactly what Carlito did. He was someone who came to Toronto. He was originally from Venezuela, and he came here and he created Calisthenics Canada, and it's been absolutely amazing. And the fact that he's created such like a solid core group of people, and then people just keep on getting added in and everything like that, and the energy has remained the same, the overall just vibe and good people, good times, is exactly how I can explain it. So if you don't have your community, create one, but you can also just look for them as well. Like definitely try to follow calisthenics people within your area. Even parkour people, I think they kind of like tie in, slightly mesh in a little bit. At least that's how it is in Toronto. But I highly recommend that you find a good training group to keep you inspired, motivated, and like get your foot in the door of being interested in calisthenics, because that's exactly how it happened for me. And I am literally so grateful for that first meetup, because again, like I said, my life I think would be so different. My friend group would be different, and I can't even imagine what it would be like to live my life right now without my solid core group of friends. So special shout out to the calisthenics community in Toronto. I love you guys. You guys are absolutely the best. What do you eat? What do you eat? Oh, what do you eat when you're so fantastic? I don't know why I couldn't read that for a second. So my diet is literally whatever fits in my macros. And I don't like to really share my macros specifically, like the numbers, because I don't want anyone to directly copy it. Because even if you're the same height as me and the same weight as me, our training styles could be completely different. Our things that we eat could be completely different, and how our body reacts to certain things could be completely different. So I never want someone to copy what I eat and set out the same macros as me. So I won't share the numbers particularly there. I will share my overall relationship with food, as well as how I just like go about my eating. So typically I will have some type of coffee in the morning, whether it's like a latte, usually oat milk or almond milk, just because one, I like to stay away from dairy because it takes up a lot of my carbs, but two, dairy just tends to make me bloat as well, so it's not the best feeling in the world to start off that way. And then from there, I'll usually have either 2 pieces of toast with cinnamon, or I'll have overnight oats, or I'll have, if I'm having time in the day, I'll be able to make like my eggs with turkey bacon and then toast, which is a little bit of a larger breakfast. Or on the other hand, sometimes I'm really quick on time and I'll make like a quick like egg banana pancake, like really, really quick, and also freaking delicious. I do try to stay relatively healthy with my eating, so that's like typically my breakfast. Lunch and dinner usually tends to be the same type of formula. It's a protein, a veggie, and then a carb. So whether that carb is pasta, quinoa, or rice, that typically tends to be my go-to 3. I used to eat a lot of sweet potato, but then I just got sick of it. So that's also like, I sometimes get sick of stuff and then I just will not eat it for months on end. So sweet potato right now is on the outs. I haven't had that in so long. I'm a rice girl. Jasmine rice is my favorite. However, one time I got sick of it and then I switched over to basmati. Vegetables, I tend to stick towards the green ones. So asparagus, broccoli, zucchini, love bok choy. I don't really like a lot of other vegetables too much. I tend to stick to the green ones. Sometimes I'll have a pepper, onion, and that's about it. I don't like squash. I don't like squash at all, like spaghetti squash. I don't care how much you want to tell me that it tastes like having spaghetti. It doesn't. It tastes like squash. It does not taste like spaghetti. It does not taste like pasta. Same thing with zucchini noodles. Like, don't get me wrong, zucchini noodles are delicious, but don't try to tell me that it tastes like pasta, because it doesn't. Pasta is delicious. Zucchini noodles are good, like they're good, but they're not, it's not pasta. For protein, I tend to stick to salmon, shrimp, chicken, ground turkey, or ground beef. Those tends to be my favorites. Sometimes I'll mix in some whitefish, but not very often, because honestly, I don't like a lot of whitefish. I hate tilapia. Ever since bodybuilding, I just cannot even digest it. It's just, I had so much of it at the time, I cannot eat it anymore. If I do have whitefish, it's either cod or haddock. And then that's pretty much what I eat. That being said, I do eat out. Like this week, I actually haven't eaten out at all, and today's Wednesday. However, some days of the week, I will usually eat out like 1 to 3 times, depending on my social circle and what I tend to do. And when I do go out and eat, it tends to be more like Asian type meals. So like pho, sushi, Korean barbecue, stuff like that. So even though I do count macros, obviously for eating out, it's a little bit harder. I just try to stay as mindful as possible and just remember what I've eaten that day to kind of like be smart with my choices. How long did it take you to be as good as you are today with your training? So one, thank you so much for saying that my training is good. That means a lot, because there's some days where I do have those like anxiety, emotional days that like take over, that tell you like you're not doing well, you're not doing enough, you're the same, you haven't changed. Like those kind of things definitely creep into your mind. So reading messages like that and other messages that say like, oh, you're so talented, you're so amazing, like things like that, those honestly mean a lot to me, because sometimes you do just get stuck in your head and you're like, am I even that good? But in terms of how long it's taken me to be this good, it's a never-ending process. Training is never one of those things where it's like you'll hit a pinnacle and just be like, chill. Like, chill. You will always want to get skills that you don't already have. So for me, the current skills that I am chasing after, literally running for, is my front lever, because I've been wanting that since 2020. As well as my strict muscle up, again, since 2020. I want to get a 185 bench, because that would be lit. And then I also want to do an overhead shoulder press with 70 pounds. So that's overall my goals right now. Some strength goals as well as some calisthenic goals. But in terms of just like getting good at them, it's just honestly the key to everything is consistency. Making sure that when you're training, you're setting out a close to perfect training regimen that's able to get you to everything that you're wanting to get. But basically you want to create a program that is, one, able for you to follow, so realistic. Two, that it's actually properly planned out. Like you can't just like mush a bunch of things together and be like, ah, here's a program. You need to make sure you're smart about it. And then three, just make sure that you're hitting all areas of your fitness. A lot of us zone in on one area, but then forget about like the other like 5, 7 moving pieces that go into fitness. It's not just about that one training program, it's everything else in between. So it's obviously your rest periods, your mobility, your core work, your overall stability work, your cardio, what you're eating. Like there is so many things that go into fitness that make a routine very well-rounded and close to perfect. One thing I would like to say and really touch on is like, you guys like heard me list every single thing that I just said. So when someone has the fear of getting bulky or too big, just know that there are literally 8 factors that you need to hit in order to get there quickly and properly and rapidly. So people who are like, oh my God, I'm gonna squat with a 40-pound dumbbell, I don't wanna get big quads. Let me tell you, I've been trying to grow my quads for the last like 3 years, and only within the last year have I seen differences, because the years before I wasn't properly focusing on it. Like I was like, yeah, I want big quads, but I wasn't really doing a lot for it. But from January to, I think I posted a picture on it, till around June, when I actually like put in work, like freaking work, you could see a noticeable difference. But that's because I was literally hitting all 8 aspects, and that's still 6 months. That's still a long time. And even still, like they could be better. You know what I mean? So don't have that fear as well of like, oh my God, I'm gonna get too big. Tips for healthy relationship with food. So this is so important, and I don't think enough people talk about this on Instagram. I don't know if it makes us feel too vulnerable, but I'm about to be super vulnerable right here. So I did bodybuilding back in 2019, and I got my pro card. It was a great experience, loved doing it, and I just haven't yet stepped on the stage yet for that pro debut. I've gotten a little bit of criticism about that, being like, oh, you got a pro card and you're not even using it. But I would like to say, the reason that I haven't used it is because bodybuilding actually put me through a very mentally challenging time for myself, because not only did I suffer and still suffer from body dysmorphia, but also I had developed like a super unhealthy eating, like with food relationship, in the terms of just the way I talked to myself. And the way that I handled when I had a craving was just like not it. And by no means have I had like the worst experience with it. I have talked to many of other bodybuilders in private and just been like, oh my gosh, like I'm not alone, like you also went through this. So I do know that if you are someone who is bodybuilding right now, or doing anything where it's like diet related, and you somehow fall into like this like little dark little cave with where the rest of us were, body dysmorphia and a bad relationship with food, like you are not alone. I don't know if body dysmorphia necessarily came from bodybuilding alone, or if it also came with just like being on the internet, being in the industry. I think it's probably a combination of the two of them, because honestly, it's so easy to compare to other people. And you also have little trolls on the internet being like, oh my God, you'd be so great if you just got your diet in check. I remember I got that comment back in 2019, still stuck in my head. Another comment that I got back like around 2019 was someone saying, oh, this girl got her pro card, she doesn't even look like a pro. And I was so butthurt, because it just made me feel like I was undeserving of getting that pro card, because even though my division, fitness, was not judged on our bodies, but judged on our routine. I knew there was other girls out there who obviously were more like cut and chiseled and lean. I wasn't as lean. Like, I'll pop a picture right here of what I looked like when I competed. I weighed like 96 pounds in this picture, which is absolutely freaking insane. That's a tiny freaking human right there. Just like little. I had an unhealthy relationship with food because I didn't reverse diet properly. Instead, after I had in my mindset, because I had been deprived for so long, it was like, oh, Taylor, you didn't eat for so long. You should have 12 cookies, 6 donuts, 7 cinnamon buns. Like, it did not make sense. Like, logically, something was like not clicking in my brain to make me realize that like the food I was eating was not food that was like needed for my body. It was more of like, again, like a want, but like an unhealthy want. And it took me a long time to mentally talk to myself better. So for me, when I wanted something and craved something, immediately I would crave it. And like, I'm not the kind of person to grab my car keys and run out and buy chips, but literally in this time frame, I was that person. I would literally drive to the grocery store and buy myself something bad just so I could eat it. And eat it in my car right away, like a freaking cookie monster. Like, it was absolutely insane. And now, being years later, I think it took me about 2.5 years to get over that. And I mean, if you guys look at my Instagram, you can kind of see the track of when I had some food issues, because I was a little bit heavier. And that's strictly because the way I was treating myself, both mentally and physically with food, was just so bad. I would talk so badly about myself after I'd done it, being like, oh my God, like you need to work out tomorrow. Like, you need to get this out of your body. You need to go and like basically binge your entire fridge, get rid of it all, and then like just buy only fruit and healthiness. And like, it was such a roller coaster of like eating super bad to being like, let me just eat carrots, to like being like super bad. And it was that terrible up and down with no consistency, no plan. That was really bad. So to cut that out, just was like, okay, you know what? Stop freaking measuring your food. Put that aside for just a second. Let's just focus on hitting 3 main goals of the day, which is just to make sure I'm hitting meals that all have protein in them, making sure that my snacks are as mindful as possible. And then for 3, just to try to stay consistent with this, that was literally it. So my main goals were very basic. I had taken away all the very specific goals, the water goals, the sleep goals, the blah, 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 all that other shit that was just boggling my mind and making it too much. And I had actually just gone to the very simple roots of like, let's just try to be as healthy as possible and be mindful. Getting rid of the scale, like literally helped me. Like, I don't think I started measuring my food again until November of 2021. So pretty recent, to be honest, like less than a year ago. And doing that now, I have such a better mindset towards things. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm a gram off, or let me eat 7 donuts. Like, my mindset's not like that anymore. It's more like when I do have those cravings of like, oh, I could really go for a freaking chocolate bar right now. I think to myself in my head, why do I want the chocolate bar? Like, let me take a look at my day truly and think like, does this actually make sense of why I want a chocolate bar? Like, if I had a balanced day in the fact that it's like, if I'm wanting a chocolate bar, it's truly just because I'm like, hey, I kind of just want a chocolate bar. Or is it because I haven't had enough protein and I'm freaking hungry and my body doesn't feel full? Or is it because I haven't had enough carbs, so I'm just craving quick energy? It's things like that that have helped me create a better structure of allowing myself to eat those extra little like chocolate bars, going out for dinner, stuff like that. That make me feel a little bit more safe with food and more confident in my choices. You make a tutorial how to dragon pistol squats. So the reason why this one is on this YouTube video is because literally everything that I do on my Instagram, I actually have my app. I'll put the like link or like what it looks like right here. And on this app, there is a ton of programs that go towards stuff that I do. So pistol squats, dragon pistol squats, regular pistol squats. We have overall like gym programs there, how to grow your glutes, how to grow a stronger upper body, how to get your first push-up, how to get your first pull-up. We also have press to handstands, advanced calisthenics, beginner calisthenics, core routines, HIIT, mobility. Like, literally my app is so jam full with stuff, and it also has tutorials that way you guys can walk through and see like proper technique, form, and cueing. And so I put so much work in this app. So if you guys do have questions on how to do specific things, definitely check it out. It is for 7 days, it's free, and then it switches over to paying, and paying is $14.99 a month, or you can do it for a $99 for the whole year, which is the best deal ever. So definitely check that out. And then of course, if you need a little bit more guidance or explanation, you can also come to me for one-on-one programming or one-on-one training that is done virtually. So those are my options for training as well. And of course, you guys, obviously you're on my YouTube channel right now. I do like to post stuff that is skill-based as well as strength-based on my, on my YouTube for tutorials as well. What is your fine line between not feeling good, needing rest, and self-discipline to get to the gym? So on the days where I'm not feeling good and needing rest, I feel like my body feels legitimately worn down. Like I feel like I'm just like I'm almost just, if I could put it into emotion, like that would be it. I just feel down a quart. And it's different than when I feel lazy. Because when I feel lazy, I feel fine. Like I legitimately just feel like I'm totally capable of doing anything right now. I just mentally want to stay in my bed and not leave and go to the gym. So it's those days that I literally go, listen, Taylor, because this is a question I get a lot. How do I motivate myself on those days? Is I'm like, you're going to go to your bed at 7:30. You're going to put on some freaking gym clothes, probably your cutest outfit that you want to put together. And if that takes you 20 minutes, it takes you 20 minutes, but you're still going to do it. And then you're going to get to the gym and you're going to hit a good workout, and it's going to be a hard workout. And when I do that, I feel so good after, because this is literally how I talk to myself. I'm like, listen, you're going to go to the gym, you're going to work out, you're going to feel great. And then that's honestly what happens. In my car, I'm not like a tunes pump up person. I literally will just sit in silence and just like freaking get in the zone of like, you're going even though you freaking don't want to be here right now because you're a lazy little bitch. And it's that kind of like, it's weird. And it depends on the person, but that kind of mentality of like, freaking do it, you know, really works for me on those lazy days. Like I said, on a day where I'm actually physically worn down, recovery is such an important part of fitness that a lot of people don't pay attention to. I truly believe it will not be a good time, both mentally as well as physically. You're just putting yourself at a higher risk for injury. So the biggest way that I can tell you guys how to figure out whether or not it's needing a rest versus just get yourself to the gym is listening to your body and feeling the difference between I don't want to go versus I can't go. If you're someone who's just, oh, I don't want to go, feels a lot like I can't go, be realistic and look at what's happened in your week and been like, has it been a tough week? Whether it's been tough personally, with work, with family, stuff like that. Have you actually been exerting more energy than normal? Have you been doing more activities? Have you been doing more manual labor? Have you been doing tougher workouts? Did you try something new? Is there something coming up later in the week that you know you're gonna need to conserve your energy for? Look at all of those factors if you're not quite there yet mentally to like dictate between, is that the right word? Differentiate between I'm lazy and I can't. So hopefully that helps. This one's a good one. Have you ever dealt with heartbreak? If so, how did you heal? Let me let you in on a little secret, guys. Taylor, Littletfitness, has definitely gone through heartbreak. I have gone through certain scenarios that have definitely made me feel like, and this is gonna sound so, this is low-key why I kind of hate talking about it, because when I say it out loud, I feel like such a little wussy. But you know that feeling where your heart actually hurts? Like, it literally feels like someone's just like, just like on your little heart. Currently right now, Taylor is very content with being single. We are very content with my life right now. We are at an emotional point of my life where I'm very happy with everything and I don't feel the need to pursue or actively like do something to get into a relationship. It's to be in this place of so much confidence of not needing another person or not like wanting another person is a lot of self-work that goes into it. I did some on my own, obviously, like you go back, you find yourself, you like, you know, do whatever you need to do to get over that person. And then the other thing was to also get like therapy, to get extra help, because sometimes we all need that. And I know therapy is expensive. It's expensive. So there are other options. Like I know there's some apps with therapists on them as well, and it becomes a little bit more financially possible. So I would suggest doing something along the lines of just kind of feeling out a therapist that can help you with like your emotional trauma and try to help you deal with your triggers, because I definitely do think it's 100% not fair to bring your baggage from something that other people did to you into something brand new with someone who's done literally nothing but be good to you. We love to be like, hey, Joe and Jim hurt my feelings 3 years ago, but you, Stan, get to deal with the byproduct. Let's not do that anymore. Let's try to make ourselves a little bit better. I will say some of the things that helped me personally one, feel your feelings. Like if you need to ugly girl cry, you ugly girl cry, because honestly, holding on to stuff is not gonna help you. You're allowed to be upset. A lot of the time, whether you're male or female, you kind of build up the person in your mind as like something bigger or better than what they actually are, especially when you get broken up with or if something ends. So there's two parts to this equation, or two parts to this step. One, you realize that the person that you built up is really, instead of being like here, like realistically, he's like here or she is here. You are not the reason why everything fell apart. It takes two to tango here, guys. It takes two. So yes, of course, let's take some accountability. Let's do some self-reflection. Obviously, there are things that you could have done better. But that being said, same thing goes to the person. So it's not just like, I suck, I'm the reason why it didn't work, he's gonna find something better, blah, 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 blah. You bring yourself up a little bit to a fact of where you look at yourself equal and be like, yeah, this didn't work out and I'm heartbroken about it, but at the same time, the reasons why it didn't work out for A, B, C, D for each person, you know that there's gonna be someone else who's better for you, who's better suited for you. So that person just wasn't meant to be your person. The reason why that person felt so special is because you made them special. And that's literally just as simple as a person is a person until you have actual attraction to them, and then that person becomes special. So it's not the fact that they're special, it's the fact that how you felt about them made them feel special. So it's all about you. Once you take away how you felt about them and you take away that little bubble of specialness, and you're kind of like, oh, Jim is actually not the love of my life. Jim is just Jim. And that's okay, and that's fine. I wanted to help you get over your heartbreak a little bit, and I think it goes like, you so badly wanted it to be them until you realize that they didn't want it to be you. And this is such a good one because it's like, it puts you in perspective. So I know like you're super sad, you're in your feelings, and you're like, but I want it to work. I want that person. But if that person doesn't want you, why should you want that person? LOL, ew. If you don't want me, bye. And I think it takes a while to get to that kind of like confidence level too, of being like, oh, you don't want me? Okay, cool, that's fine. But I will find someone who does. Especially when you're in a state of like being heartbroken. So I hope those all helped to a degree. And if you are someone, because obviously this person who asked this question might be going through a heartbreak, if you are going through a heartbreak, know that you are not alone, that we have all been through it. Whether you're a guy or a girl, we've all gotten our feelings hurt, and you will be okay. That's kind of where I wanted to end that one on. Hopefully it all made sense. Hopefully you're feeling better through your heartbreak and that you're gonna feel a lot better soon. I am giving you a virtual hug to make you feel better. And that is gonna be it for today's Q&A. So hopefully you guys like this video. It was more in depth. If you guys want more of these, just comment below, or if you have more questions, comment below and I'll answer them for the next one. But until then, I will see you guys next time, and make sure you like, subscribe, and comment.